Hey folks, time again for another vlog. This is Gravity Falls Season 1, Episode 3, Headhunters. And yeah, more like this please. This was really good. This was as funny as the first two episodes, but felt a lot more organic. It was a lot... It did that thing where you think you know where it's going, and then it goes somewhere else. And then it goes where you thought it was going in the first place, which is a very effective way, I find, of tricking me and going somewhere I wasn't expecting, simply because, when it doesn't go where I'm expecting initially, I assume it's not going to go there at all. So basically, this was the one where they find creepy wax dolls of various famous characters and individuals, including... What was the running gag with Larry King all about? That was weird. But they had that. They found them, and the Abraham Lincoln one, which was Grunkle Stan's favorite, had melted, so Mabel made him one. Then someone chopped the wax figure's head off, so they investigated it. Best joke in the whole thing was the duck-tective saying, "Don't patronize me." That was an excellent response to bad duck puns. Other than that, I don't know. I've talked about that quality of being organic, of being joyous, of just feeling like it has life to it, and I feel like this episode has that where the previous two did not. And it's hard to place exactly why. I think part of it is that, these are kids being kids. They're clearly having a blast and being very much who they are. Although it's very clear this is going to be a less character-driven show than something like, say, Steven Universe, or even something like Korra. It's still... Ultimately, stories are rooted in the characters and their behaviors, and we have that here. The curse comes completely from outside, but at the same time, it's brought down by Grunkle Stan's usual greed and disrespect for the law. The creation of the new X figure is pure Mabel, especially the glitter. The whole detective thing, yeah, that's consistent with what we've seen of Dipper so far. The cops are the most realistically portrayed cops I've ever seen in anything. That's exactly what I expect a cop to be like, so well done there. I loved Grunkle Stan's line about, that seems like something a responsible parent would have a problem with, but good thing I'm an uncle, because that very much sums up my relationship with my nieces and nephew, and why I am one of nature's uncles, but will never be a parent. Being an uncle is great, because you get to have fun with them, and then as soon as someone has to be responsible for something, hand them off to the parents, because you don't know what you're doing, you're not a parent. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, a really good episode. I enjoyed the brief moment we got of Dipper and the girl who's only shown up for like 30 seconds so far, so I'm not sure what her name is. But she's like the cashier. I kind of liked, their little, I got bribed too exchange, and I'd like to see more of them interacting. There was a good vibe there. They seem like they could, play off each other well, be friends. Kind of the way Mabel and Seuss are starting to shape up to be. That he's despite being ostensibly an adult, he's becoming kind of her sidekick. Dragged into things by her because they've got such similar, silliness to them. Mabel does, however, continue to be the star of the show. Kristen Shaw is amazing. I never, ever tire of her in anything that I have seen her in. She's great in this. She's great in Bob's Burgers. She's the best thing about Bob's Burgers. Even 30 Rock was not a very good show. She was pretty good in. I think the only other thing I've seen her in is The Muppets, which she was in for like 5 minutes. But they were a good 5 minutes. She's just great. Oh, and Adventure Time. I've seen 1 or 2 episodes of Adventure Time that she's in, and she's really fun. So yeah, I really like her. She's a great find for this show and a great fit for Mabel. But this was very much a Dipper episode. This was very much about him feeling the need to prove that he's not adorable, that he's not a child, that he can accomplish an adult task, which is solving this mystery. Of course, this then results in him being called adorable by a melting Sherlock Holmes and then given noogies. Which is about how what is he, 12? About how a 12-year-old trying to prove he's a grown-up should go. Because he's not a grown-up, he's 12. He's gonna fail. And it's gonna be adorable watching him fail. Because there are few things more entertaining than a child trying to pretend to be a grown-up. That's just always really cute. Other than that, still not picking up. You know, like I said when I started this, I was under the impression that there was some sort of a mystery built about the town and stuff. And I guess there were hints of that in the first episode with the secret passages and stuff. But that hasn't really come back. But I guess, they've got another 17 episodes to play with. It'll be along sooner or later, I'm sure. I'm not really in a rush for it. I'd like to have more development of the characters. I'd like to see more of, again, I cannot remember the girl's name, but, red hair and flannel, that girl. I'd like to see some more development of her just because she is in the group shot at the end of the opening credits, so it seems like she ought to be, at least a secondary character. It seems like the kids in Grunkle Stan are the main characters, and Seuss is in this secondary character position, and then you've got tertiary characters around the town, like the old man, who might be prominent in one episode, but are mostly just, they'll have 1 or 2 lines. And currently, she's in that third group, but she's in the, group shot in the opening credits, so I'm hoping she advances into the second group. Also because right now, Mabel is literally the only girl. And that's always, a problematic thing to do, because when there is only one girl, she becomes the girl. She becomes emblematic of girlhood, and then it is virtually impossible to do anything with her that isn't a problem. Because, if she likes dresses, then you're saying all girls like dresses. If she doesn't like dresses, then you're saying girls shouldn't like dresses. You need to have, ideally, lots of women. Then you can start doing things like actually passing the freaking Bechdel test. You can start, having distinct personalities, as if women are people rather than a checkbox to mark off. I'm not accusing the show's creators of anything. I think they are headed in that direction, or at least I hope they are. But if we get, 15 episodes in and Mabel is still the only significant female character, I'm sorry, that's a problem. This world, like so many fictional worlds, already has a really skewed gender ratio, and it's gonna create more problems the further on they go without fixing it. So, I think they will, though. Other than that, I liked the whole thing with the reporter. that his alibi was so ridiculously embarrassing and creepy. Apparently in this world, there's a distinction between curses and magic. I'm kind of jumping tracks here. I went from old guys creepy to wax dolls are creepy to wax dolls are cursed. Because they laugh at the notion that they're magic, but they're the product of a curse. So I guess curses and magic aren't the same thing or something. I'm curious as to who or what cursed them. They do mention that the garage sale was haunted, so maybe a ghost or something. I don't know. But I guess keep an eye out for more cursed things. So far, we've had gnomes, robots, and curses. This is a pretty kitchen sinky sort of a fantasy setting. But that's okay. That's not a bad thing, comic book settings tend to be really kitchen sinky, the MCU, the Avengers have a guy in robot armor, a guy mutated by science gone wrong, an actual witch. It's kind of ridiculous, is my point. And that's acceptable within the genre. And this, I think, is going for the X-Files kind of a feel, which likewise is really kitchen sinky, I remember watching the first couple of seasons of the X-Files, and there were creatures from folklore, there were psychic powers, there were aliens, there all that kind of stuff, all kind of mixing together. So we'll see what comes next. That is one nice thing, is there's no way of knowing what's going to happen next, in terms of from one episode to the next, because we've gone, like I said, from gnomes to robots, or submarine, I guess, to cursed wax dolls. Could be anything next. It could be aliens. It could be, I don't know, time travelers or I don't know. I'm not even going to try to predict. Yeah, this was good. I enjoyed it. I feel like this show is starting to derive more of the story from its characters. It's starting to get a stronger sense of who the characters are. Like, this episode, Dipper did have a distinct personality. He's still very close to the generic boy, but, the generic, his desire to prove himself and grow up and so forth is pretty generic boy, but the specific shape of it, the detective skills, the faint ridiculousness of everything he does, the kind of Mulder-esque mind so open there's a risk of brains falling out the back element, that's all Dipper. So he's starting to be a better drawn character. Mabel, of course, has been one from the start. Getting more of a feel for who Grunkle Stan is and what he's like. He's noticeably less grumpy in this episode. He's still cynical and kind of uncaring, but he's also a lot more affectionate towards the kids. So, kind of warming up there. Yeah. I enjoyed it. Now I want, like, I don't know. I want, like I said, I want more of the girl whose name I can't remember because she's been on the show so little. I want more Mabel. But I'm enjoying it and looking forward to whatever's next. So yeah, see you guys next time.